Good morning. Good morning. This is Cammie C here, your impact coach, with your impact moment for today. So we're going to talk about the big picture effect. Type in big picture. Big picture. So I think it was July. In July, I went to California. I went to go visit my grandparents, which I thoroughly enjoyed my trip, and they were out there in California. So also, while I was there during my trip, we decided to go do some little adventures. And so one of the adventures that we went on is that we went rock climbing. And so we went rock climbing, of course, indoors rock climbing. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm climbing up no mountains yet, but we went indoor rock climbing. And so as soon as I walked through the door, all I could see was these walls. These walls with all of these studs, all of these colorful studs up there. All I saw was this big wall climbing. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be adventurous. This is going to be a lot, and it's going to take a lot of energy. I already know it. Right? And I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to make it to the top. All I see these people climbing up, jumping down, climbing up, falling down, all these different things. So at that moment, I was like, ooh, did we make the right decision? But we're going to still give it all we got, right? So what I did not take into account is the process that goes into learning how to climb those walls. All right, walls or mountain, whichever way you want to call it, right? The tutorial that took place, the demonstrations that took place, and how I had to learn which color of those studs to take. This stud color was going to cause you to use more strength, and you had to have a little bit more advanced work with wall climbing. But if you use this color stud, then it's a little bit more easier because they're a little bit closer together. And guess what happens? You can start maneuvering it a little bit more better. If you climb up this side of the wall, it'll be a little bit better and most beneficial if it's your first time because it's not as steep, right? And the studs are more closer to each other. So what I had to do was I first entered into the room and I saw the big picture. The big picture intimidated me. The big picture got a little bit of fear out of me, right? But what I didn't take into account is the process and the steps and learning the sequence of how to climb the wall. And if I did not go through that process, then I would not have accomplished such a goal of wall climbing. And I made it to the top, right? Even in that moment. But I had to take on the big picture effect. What happens with the big picture a lot of times is that we look at the big goal. We look at our dream. We look at the goal we set for the year and we set it just right there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to purchase a home, right? For example, I'm going to purchase a home. I'm going to start my business, right? And we put that as a goal. But what we neglect to do is go through the tutorial processes of how to reach that goal. Right? Go through the necessary of this is the step to take. This is going to be a little bit easier for you. This is going to be a little bit more challenging for you to do. And so when we don't go through the necessary processes and we only look at the big picture, what happens? We get discouraged. We get intimidated. We lose focus. The goal ends up going to the wayside because we don't know how to accomplish it or what next steps to take. So I want to encourage you that you have to neglect, the big picture effect in order to truly accomplish your goals. One of my blueprint guides that I have, and that one that I'm almost working on finalizing and finishing, that I have revised, is how to go through actually setting goals and putting actionable steps in place. Right? There is a process to it. Right? Just as I was climbing the rock wall, if I didn't know to step on this stud and then to go to this one and then to move my hand up here, then pull myself up here, what would have happened? Right? I would have of course I kept falling. Of course I had to try it again. But if I didn't learn those techniques and if I didn't go through that tutorial process, what would have happened? I would have just kept seeing myself failing versus understanding there is a process attached to it and falling is part of it. Right? Slipping is going to be part of it. It's part of the journey and it's part of the process. But if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have known that. And every time I fail, I would be like, this is too much. I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm going to give up. Right? I don't know which block. I keep stepping on orange. I keep stepping on green. I keep stepping on yellow. I didn't know to take all the greens all the way up. I didn't know to take all the oranges all the way up. Right? But it took the process. It took someone doing their job to help me understand how to efficiently and effectively climb this wall. The big picture effect. Stop limiting yourself based upon the big picture. We set those as vision boards. I have no problem with vision boards. I love vision boards. But what we sometimes do with vision boards is we set these big pictures and we set these big images up, but we have no plans of execution. We have no next steps that are attached to them, right? So I want to encourage you that the big picture effect, if that's what you're operating in, we might got to reevaluate some things. If you feel like you haven't accomplished a goal in a certain amount of time, or you feel like you keep going through the same process and it's not working, let's evaluate that, because it may be that you don't have the right processes and you don't have the right plan in place, right? I love working with people with creating plans. I have an entire blueprint that is a Goal Crusher worksheet that is coming out soon, right? That's coming out soon. That's going to be able to help you be able to crush those goals. And I mean efficiently, I mean effectively, and I mean with all intention. And counting to effect all those failing moments that's going to happen, because it's going to happen. You cannot avoid them. Okay? All right. So the big picture effect. Let's not eliminate our dreams and our goals this year because we're looking at the big picture. Let's see how we can break it down into small pieces and how we can learn how to maneuver with seeing success in the process. All right. This is Coach Cami C, your impact coach. I hope you were empowered by this moment and I hope you take it to heart. If you want to reach out to me, DM Big Picture, DM me Big Picture, or visit my website to schedule a free call on me. I want to help you and to support you. My website is www.choosetomakeanimpact.com. As I always say, make sure you do what? Make sure you touch your heart, love a life, right here on my shirt, and give someone a smile. And at the end of the day, choose to see the process and not just focus on the big picture, and choose to make an impact. I love you, and until next time.